Rogeria and Fremous were inseparable. Childhood sweethearts, their bond deepened with each passing year. They shared secrets whispered under the cloak of night. They built dreams in the light of day. Their love was a haven, a refuge from the world outside. Their families, however, had other plans. Ancient rivalries ran deep. Hatred simmered beneath polite smiles and forced pleasantries. Rogeria and Fremous knew their love was forbidden, a dangerous dance on the edge of a knife. Still, they clung to hope. They made a pact, sealed with a kiss and a promise. 7 years. 7 years they would wait, their love a secret flame burning bright in the darkness. Then they would face their families together. The weight of the secret pressed down on Rogeria. She loved Fremous with every fibre of her being. But the fear was a constant shadow. Her parents were not to be trifled with. Their disapproval was a palpable thing, a suffocating presence that hung over her. She had heard the whispers, tales of a blood pact, an ancient agreement between their families. It was a pact forged in blood and shrouded in darkness. A pact that spoke of forbidden love and a terrible curse. Rogeria pushed the stories to the back of her mind. They were just old wives' tales, she told herself, ancient history irrelevant to her modern love, but doubt, like a seed of poison, had been planted. She clung to Fremous, his love a shield against the encroaching darkness. He would protect her. He would defy the whispers and break the curse, wouldn't he? Time, a relentless tide, swept them along. 7 years passed in a blur of stolen moments and hidden affections. Rogeria blossomed into a woman of breathtaking beauty, her spirit as radiant as the morning sun. Fremous, strong and resolute, became her rock, her anchor in the storm. The day they had both longed for and dreaded arrived. It was time to face their families. Rogeria's heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the silence of the impending storm. They met under the old oak tree, their sanctuary. The air crackled with unspoken tension. Fremous took her hand, his touch a spark of warmth in the growing chill. "It's time," he whispered, his eyes reflecting the fading light. Rogeria drew a shuddering breath. "It's time," she echoed, her voice a mere tremor in the gathering darkness. Rogeria's parents reacted with a fury that chilled her to the bone. Her father, his face contorted with rage, spat curses on their love. Her mother, eyes blazing with a cold fire, spoke of betrayal and ancient pacts. They confined Rogeria to their manor. The walls, once familiar and comforting, now felt like the bars of a prison. Her pleas to see Fremous fell on deaf ears. Their love, they insisted, was a transgression against the natural order, a violation of the blood pact. Fremous, they warned, would face the consequences. Fear, sharp and cold, pierced Rogeria's heart. She had underestimated her parents' ruthlessness. Their hatred for Fremous and his family ran deeper than she could have imagined. She was trapped. 10 days, 10 agonizing days passed. 10 days of whispered threats and veiled promises. 10 days of Rogeria's spirit slowly breaking under the weight of her family's legacy. Then the news arrived. Fremous was dead, murdered. The details were scant, shrouded in rumor and speculation. Some whispered of a struggle, of shadows moving in the night. Others spoke of a couple, their faces hidden by wide-brimmed hats, seen fleeing the scene. Rogeria was shattered. Guilt and grief consumed her, leaving her hollow and broken. She had chosen her family over her love, and now Fremous was gone. But something was wrong. The whispers, the shadows, the strange couple, none of it felt real. It felt staged. The manor, once her sanctuary, became a prison of a different kind. The silence was broken by whispers, soft, insidious whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. They spoke Fremous's name, his voice a mournful echo in the darkness. Sleep offered no escape. Visions, vivid and terrifying, plagued her nights. She saw Fremous, his eyes staring accusingly into hers, his hand outstretched, beckoning her to join him. The visions bled into her waking hours. Objects moved on their own. Doors slammed shut. A chill permeated the house, a constant reminder of her loss and her guilt. Rogeria was haunted, not just by Fremous's memory, but by something more sinister. Something ancient and malevolent had awakened within the manor's walls. Driven to the brink by terror and grief, Rogeria sought answers in the dusty annals of her family's history. She spent countless hours in the manor's cavernous library, poring over ancient texts, her fingers tracing the faded ink of forgotten tales. The truth, when she found it, was more horrifying than anything she could have imagined. The blood pact was real. Centuries ago, her ancestors had made a deal with a dark entity, a pact that promised prosperity and power in exchange for something far more valuable: love. The pact forbade any union between their families, cursing any who dared to defy it. The curse manifested in different ways: madness, illness, untimely death. And now it seemed the curse had claimed Fremous. One moonless night, as Rogeria stood on the precipice of despair, she saw them, the couple from the rumours surrounding Fremous's murder. They stood in the garden, shrouded in shadow, their faces obscured by wide-brimmed hats. Their voices, when they spoke, were like whispers on the wind, chilling her to the bone. "You are in danger," they warned. "They are not what they seem." Rogeria demanded answers. Who were they? What had they done to Fremous? They offered no explanations, only cryptic warnings and a single bone-chilling truth. "You are not haunted, child. You are hunted." With that, they vanished into the night, leaving Rogeria trembling in the darkness, more terrified than ever before. The faceless couple's words echoed in Rogeria's mind. Hunted, the whispers, the visions, the eerie occurrences, they weren't just manifestations of her guilt or the curse's power. Someone or something was actively tormenting her, but who and why? Driven by a desperate need for answers, Rogeria delved deeper into her family's past. She discovered a hidden chamber within the manor, a room dedicated to the blood pact. The air hung heavy with a malevolent energy, the walls adorned with disturbing symbols and arcane texts. And there, in the center of the room, was a portrait. It depicted a couple, their faces strikingly familiar, the faceless couple. But in the portrait, their features were clear. They were her parents, younger of course, but undeniably them. The truth hit Rogeria with the force of a physical blow. Her parents weren't just aware of the curse, they were complicit in it. They had orchestrated Fremous's murder to uphold the pact. But why go to such lengths? The realization struck Rogeria with chilling clarity. Her parents weren't just protecting the family legacy, they were protecting themselves. The blood pact, it seemed, demanded more than just the sacrifice of love. It demanded obedience, loyalty, and a willingness to do whatever it took to appease the dark entity they had made a deal with centuries ago. And now Rogeria was a threat. She had broken the pact by loving Fremous. She had defied her parents and unearthed their dark secret. They would silence her. The whispers intensified, morphing into threats. The visions became more vivid, more visceral. She saw her own demise, a gruesome reflection of Fremous's fate. They were closing in. Fear, though ever present, was slowly replaced by a steely resolve. She would not be another victim of their twisted game. She would not let Fremous's death be in vain. Armed with the knowledge of her family's betrayal and the truth about the blood pact, Rogeria confronted her parents. The confrontation was explosive. Her parents, their faces twisted with a mixture of rage and fear, denied everything. But their eyes betrayed them. Rogeria saw the flicker of recognition, the subtle shift in their demeanor when she mentioned the hidden chamber, the portrait, the faceless couple. They were trapped in their own web of lies, and they would do anything to keep her silent. But Rogeria was done being silent. She would break the curse even if it meant destroying her family and herself in the process.